Whoa.
And there was a man with half a mannequin. That's weird.
Well, he didn't hear us, I guess.
Yeah.
But we very nearly hit him.
And his mannequin.
And his mannequin.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to Chandler's BMW here in Howsham. This is going to be a bit of a first for me. I'm driving my first ever electric car, and this is the i3s. We're going to take it out on the road, go on a bit of a road trip and basically see what's an electric car like. At the moment we've plugged it in, so we should be on 100% charge. In order to take it out, we press the unlock button, take out the cable. We'll hang it back up here on the charge station. Let's go and hop in and take this out. We've got a friend of mine now on the channel, Will. He's coming along. He's also going to be giving his input in the car, having a drive, and we'll go from there. So we'll pop the key in one of the many cubby holes. Now this is going to be a bit of a unique experience for me. We'll get strapped in, possibly, if I can get my seatbelt in, foot on the brake, and that's it. Now, changing gear is very, very different as well. We've got this little switch. It's in D.
Handbrake.
Handbrake off. And that's eerie. We're programmed in now. We've got Dungeness set as our destination. We've got 42 miles according to the sat nav, 108 miles range of electric and 78 miles range of petrol. So I'd hope that should be enough. I need to explain this. When you ease off the accelerator, it brakes basically because of the regenerative braking going on and charging the batteries. It feels like, I don't know, you've dropped probably a couple of gears down, so you can, if you lift off the accelerator, you will
now turn left.
Eventually come to a complete standstill without braking. So you have to always have your foot on the accelerator to maintain a speed. There's no coasting. You'll basically come to a stop.
Now the regenerative braking is an interesting one. So if you get used to it, driving this today, and then you climb back into your car and forget that you don't have regenerative braking, there's a distinct possibility that you're going to meet the back end of someone else's car.
Yeah, it's just really odd, and I can see in front of me there's like on the instrument, the very small instrument cluster, which has just got speed in this, looks a bit like a rev counter, which when you're in the middle you're maintaining your speed, and when you're over to the right hand side it's got e-power, so you're using obviously electricity, and then the left is how much charge you're putting back into the battery.
So another benefit of this, of course, is that you use very little of your brake shoes.
Yeah, so servicing should be a lot less if you learn how to drive it.
Yeah. But the brake discs themselves are tiny. You have to stitch in a little shot of them. They are like milk bottle tops.
Yeah, you would have thought, considering the weight of this car, they'd be quite substantial.
But I think it's the regenerative braking along with that auxiliary braking, if you like, what we'd usually have in normal cars. You probably don't need, well, you clearly don't need a really big brake.
No.
Because it's already slowing you.
We've actually got real leather in here, which is very nice indeed. A bit of extra quality that I thought maybe it might have been sort of faux leather going on in here. But yeah, real leather. They do offer a complete fabric option. So if you're vegan and you want a animal friendly car.
They do, but so they can change everything that in this car is leather into non-leather except the steering wheel. So they can have the steering wheel redone for you at cost. No idea how much that is. But as a standard practice, they can't do the steering wheel. It's not an option without taking a step further. Well, the materials are interesting. So in this car we've got, I think there's one of 4 trim levels, the highest being something called Lounge, I think, which is entirely leather, like a walnut, nearly black colour.
Yeah.
This one of the others, which has a wool and plastic bottle blend.
Yeah, that sounds...
Strangely. So there's an awful lot of recycled material in here, and the car itself is 95% recyclable.
Yeah, which is incredible. When they make part of the car and they make the carbon fibre, that's over in the States, I think they mentioned.
It is, yeah.
They've got a hydroelectric plant there, and that runs the factory. And then where they make other parts that actually assemble the cars, they've got 3 massive wind turbines that power the plant.
Leipzig, I believe it is.
Yes. And it's just that attention to detail that I think no one knows about. You don't read about this sort of thing at all.
No, so they're very quietly getting on and being very, very green. They don't fanfare, they don't shout about it. But actually, when you start looking more closely at things, you can see it. So what would otherwise be plastics in a normal car, mainly here are vegetable fibres in some sort of resin.
Yeah.
There's real leather on the doors, although I questioned this at the dealership because it doesn't look the same as the leather on the dashboard. But on the door cards and the seats in this car, this is the leather that is tanned with the olive leaves rather than normal processes. Whereas the leather on the dashboard looks much more usual.
Yeah, the ones you'd see in any other BMW is how I'd expect to.
Yeah, really nice place to be.
Yeah.
The feeling of space is enormous. It's odd. It's very little clutter. So you don't have many dials. You don't have a large instrument binnacle in your line of sight. This has got an upgrade. I think this is the pro level navigation and what have you. That's a £900 option, but actually worth it.
Yeah, and it's the iDrive 6.
6, not 7.
7, and that's just come out, but it's got a reskinned look. It's a more, I think blue is their colour to be.
For the electricity?
Yeah, green, blue.
It is,
yeah.
It's electric blue for the greenness of the electricity.
Yeah. Blue is the new green.
Blue is the new green.
Yeah, and also on the dash here we've got real wood as well, and that's a sustainable.
It's eucalyptus, so one of the fastest growing woods available, and it's a really nice material. Yeah, I like it. Nice.
But the window, how far away that is, we had to put our cameras, obviously, because you're watching us. That I can't even reach the front windscreen. It's that far away, and like you were saying, it's so airy in here. It's very futuristic and
it's lovely. It's a really nice place to be. There are seats in the back, and later on I'm sure we'll take shots of how the rear doors open and what have you. So it's an odd setup in that the front door overlaps the rear door, so if you were in the back you couldn't leave the car without the person in front of you letting you out.
Yeah.
You certainly need to open that front door before opening the rear.
I'm liking this more than I thought I would do. I don't want to play it down, but I thought at first, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I had the same reaction. So I've used one of these for a little bit of time in the past, when another vehicle of mine was being looked at, and I really wasn't too sure. Now, when I picked that car up, it had 90 miles range electricity, and it didn't have the range extender, and I had to go from Helsham to Rye, and driving it quite sensibly, when I arrived in Rye, I had a range of 91 miles.
That's impressive.
Strangely, it went up, but I think as a dealer car for people to try out, people get a bit excited with the 0 to 30 maybe, and perhaps stamp on it a little bit, which of course uses up quite a lot of the electricity. But on a cruise, it's really, really very, very frugal.
Yeah, it's very relaxing at the moment. I don't think I've touched the brake pedal in the past. I've been driving not that long, about 20 minutes, and I've not touched the brake at all.
No.
That's 1 foot driving. We've got 20-inch rims on this car. They're
we have.
massive, really, compared to the size of the car. But that's all to do with, I think the larger wheel has less rolling resistance than a smaller wheel.
Well, it's all to do with weight and kinetic energy.
Science.
Science. Other clever words.
Yeah. But we don't want to turn into some physics video, although it can't do because I know absolutely nothing about physics. So that's not
this
going
is
to happen.
another example of where BMW is doing clever things, but not broadcasting it. Now, the interesting thing is that this is the i3s, but it is pretty much the last of its generation that will have the additional generator, the range extender, as they call it. Because after this, if you want a really brand new one of these now, if you order it from the factory, it is 100% electrical. So it's got a bigger battery. I think this has a 94 kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
I think the new one has 120 something, 128 maybe 120. But they've managed to increase the range to such a level that it is almost equivalent to this. So with the 94 kilowatt hour plus the range extender gives you 260-ish miles in probably ideal conditions, whereas the totally electric one, the new one now, will do very close to that, and all on electricity. There's no generator in there at all.
No, and why do you need to have that? I know some people, and I think if I had a pure electric car, in some ways it's this whole range anxiety issue.
Yeah.
But you do have to maybe plan your driving slightly differently.
You
drive
do,
from...
but, so if you buy the car, you can then get the app, and you can program your route on the app and via various places to fill up on your electricity. So in 2017 there were 4,000 electric points for charging this sort of vehicle. Now there are 15,000.
And that's huge, isn't it?
It's enormous. Almost everywhere that you are, there'll be somewhere relatively close that has charging capabilities. And there are different types of charging capabilities, different charging rates, and the most impressive is the DC system. There are a few of them around, some local to us, but the dealer said that will charge your car from empty to full in 20 minutes.
Yeah, and that is 20 minutes. That's go there, read a paper or something, and your car's charged. They offer, it's like a scheme where you pay an amount each month, and it's, was it £8?
£8 a month. First 3 months would be free if you purchase the car, and then £8 a month for basically free electricity.
Yeah, we're just arriving down at Dungeness now. Weather has been really, really mixed. It's a bit torrential at the moment. So we'll head on over to the actual power station, go and park up and have a quick chat. We've just arrived down here at Dungeness. We've got the nuclear power station just behind me. We've been in the car for around 2 hours, so I think we've got a good idea what it's like. And I'm really, really impressed with it. I have got to get back in the car. The weather has been absolutely shocking. We're in summer, we've had snow, we've had sleet, torrential rain. So I want to go and find somewhere a bit nicer and a bit warmer to have a look around the outside of this car. Let's get in. Oh, it's so cold.
Let's find somewhere warm.
We're heading back from Dungeness and the weather really has taken a turn for the worst.
It's appalling. It's like being in a squall.
It's shocking.
We're in a squall without the boat.
Yeah, absolutely horrible. But I've driven all the way over here, so I think it's only time for Will to take a turn.
Drive in the really bad weather.
Exactly. Will can enjoy the terrible weather. I'm going to hop out in a minute and chill over in the passenger seat, and we'll go from there. So yeah, we'll be back with you in a minute. Right, we've swapped over, strangely enough. Will's over there because I don't have a steering wheel anymore.
You know,
No, not allowed a steering wheel.
this is quite a strange sensation. I've driven one of these before, but not for a while. About a year ago or so I had one for a long weekend. But it's very strange. The weather now has gone so bad that I think I've just just seen Noah pull up. We're at Camber Sands, if anyone needs to see where we are. Yeah, taking your foot off that accelerator really does.
It's strange,
suck
isn't
you
it?
back, yeah.
I know when we were obviously driving a bit earlier, I was taking my foot off and you were like, whoa!
It's quite nauseating actually, because in a normal car, of course, you take your foot off and yes, it would slow down, but it wouldn't pull you back. Whereas this, if I do that now...
It is, it's worse over this side as a passenger.
Yeah, I guess because you're not, you know it's not, you don't know that it's coming.
Yeah.
So it's doing very well on its economy run. I think we started out at 90 something. I'm sure you'll be able to find what that is and flash up the real number on the screen maybe. But we've switched over into a mode that maintains charge in the batteries by bringing the generator on board when it gets under a certain amount. So I think we've got, well, I can tell you, we've got 57 miles of battery range just now and 60 miles of generator range.
Which is really impressive, considering the amount of distance
So we've done 60 miles.
Yeah. And I think it's a 9 gallon tank.
Yeah. So it's tiny.
9 litre, sorry, yeah, not 9 gallon, it's...
No, 9 litres, there's 2 gallons.
Yeah, it's a really small little motorbike engine. So it's really, really efficient.
Yeah. So at UK fuel prices for our American friends, that's about $40 to fill up now. It's not really.
Yeah. But it's still outrageous, isn't it? Per litre,
what is it now? Something like £13 for 2 gallons or something like that.
But I do like it over here. It's quite nice being driven around as well. Loads of legroom. I'm quite impressed with this.
It's very smooth.
Yeah.
Although being slab-sided, we have noticed that it gets buffeted a bit by the winds. But today's winds are quite buffety. Just heard the generator come on. Just sound like a small jackhammer.
Yeah, it's. I think if you're listening, it's noticeable. If you're talking like we are, it's like, yeah, you wouldn't really know. Especially if you got the stereo on or something like that, you probably wouldn't notice it at all. But
no,
as soon as you listen out, it does sound.
It's so quiet. It's not like you're driving a normal car at all. There's virtually no road noise. I guess that's because of the really skinny tyres. Wind noise is probably the biggest thing that you notice.
Yeah. I think it's worth just having a talk about storage areas. We've got quite large door pockets on each side, so they're quite nice. They've got like rubber mats in the bottom as well. Very posh. We've got a little button that pings up for it's actually a reasonable sized glove box, and I've got to show you this. Look at the size of this manual. This is the charging booklet, the user. That is outrageous. That's 313 pages of.
How many languages?
Probably 313. There's quite a few languages as well, but that you've got to say that's a big manual for putting a plug in. So that's in there, but yeah, I think there's enough room in there. Certainly, we've got a centre console, or a centre armrest. You can put some bits in there. We've got a USB charging port as well. Cup holder down this side. I think there's only one.
Just one cup holder for the front.
Yeah, let me have a look under here. Yeah, looks like there's only one cup holder, so we'll have to share drinks. We've both driven this car now, and there's certainly lots of positives about it, but negative wise,
I haven't found anything negative. Full disclosure, I really like this car.
Yeah, I'm even more impressed. The more you drive it, the more you go on.
But there is a slight downside in that if you want one of these, you are paying grown-up money for a car.
Yeah,
there is no cheap alternative unless you go to the second-hand market. But to buy one of these new, they start at something like 36, 37.
Yeah,
and you can spec it up to 47, 48.
Having a chat with the guys at BMW and servicing costs, there's not a lot really to actually be serviced.
No. So there are 10 battery cells in here. Each are £600 to replace or buy, £600 to buy, should one go faulty, and that's a very, very rare thing to happen. And we're going to go straight over there.
Yeah. You get 8 years warranty on the batteries.
8 years warranty.
So that gives you a lot of peace of mind. We've had this car now for the day. Both Will and myself have driven it, done quite a few miles in it. I think we've got a good idea of what it's like. It really is the future of motoring. I think within a few years everything is going to be electric. Whether some people like it or not.
You can't argue with the torque though.
No, the torque is rather pokey, yes, and battery tech's going to get better. And the overall look, I don't think there's any other car on the road. It is an i3.
Yeah, you can't mistake this for anything else. And it's much bigger than you imagine.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be miniature, but it's...
Yeah, it's a good heffing size.
Yeah. And yeah, we were saying the looks, the running costs are quite reasonable. You can...
£1 to fill up.
Yeah.
Equivalent.
Yeah, if you do it at home, it's really next to nothing. Imagine what it's going to cost in petrol to fill up for 250 miles. It's going to be considerably more. Yes, there is a slightly larger outlay in the vehicle in the first place, sort of looking really at around 40,000. But it's the sort of car I could see you keeping for quite a while, to be honest. And as it's a town car, you're not going to put many miles on it. You just want to zip around in the city. Really, I think it's perfect for that. Even slightly longer runs like we've done. I haven't even started worrying about the amount of fuel we've got left or the amount of electricity. So overall, I think really it's definitely more positives than negatives. No pun intended there with positive and negative. I'm just going to pretend I was being very witty, but I wasn't. Yeah, anyway, if you're even slightly considering one, head down to your local dealer. Certainly if you're in East Sussex, head down to Chandler's and Howsham, go and have a chat with them and just take it out on the road, go and have a test drive. It really, really is worth having the experience, and might change your mind and buy one there and then.